What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 105 of Park to Prem here with Town Town. And well, if the title of today's video hasn't caught your attention, maybe seeing it here on the right will. Yes, there is... I feel like a scientist. We're experimenting. We're forgoing our 4-4-2 and creating something different. We'll talk about it very shortly. Of course, today is the penultimate episode of the season. We are going to be taking on Southampton. However, you may notice the date in the top right is a little different to what it was meant to be, and that's because our fixture against Southampton got postponed. So today, you join me to take on Southampton, and if we get a win against the team who are top, well, we can't really catch them, to be honest, at this point. They've only lost 2 games all year, but we could secure our promotion back to the Premier League. And at the end of the day, that's what we started this season trying to do. So let's get a win. Let's give them their 3rd defeat of the year. Let's have a promotion party and also discuss the new tactic before we're done today. Of course, we have also had a youth intake, so there's quite a few bits to get to, so we'll get straight into the fixtures here. And, well, you can see we are going to start here with the game against Huddersfield. A 2-2 draw in this one. An interesting game, Shuttleworth with a goal, Andre with a goal. I need to draw attention to Andre because you might remember when he joined us, he had 9 passing, and I think he had 13 vision. I have, for the last about 6 months, a little bit more than 6 months now, had him training as an advanced playmaker on attack with passing. His passing and his vision, I mean, he's got his glasses sorted, basically. I feel like he needed a prescription. You can see here his passing has gone from 9 to 11. His vision has gone from 13 to 15. That is really good progress. And suddenly a player who looked like the kind of player you look at and go, why the hell have you signed this guy to play centre mid? He can't pass. Looks like he could become a very, very serviceable box-to-box midfielder to me. I feel like this is where he could end up playing. Of course, only 20 years old, model citizen. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Andre over the coming years here at the club. Anyway, off the back of that game, we took on Leicester. Of course, Leicester promoted back to the Championship from League One last year. We dispatched them 1-0. Rodriguez with a tidy little effort. Turnbull shot initially blocked it, fell to him, and we kept the momentum going with a second home win in a row, this time against Northampton. In this game, they took the lead through Philip Rooney, a crazy, crazy free kick. Went straight over the wall, straight into the top corner, but we responded accordingly. Dylan Turnbull got the first in this game for us in the 20th minute, and well, after a little bit of a shouty half-time, Andre came alive. He grabbed another. He's been getting a decent amount of goals from centre mid. Shvetsov then wrapped up the win with a penalty. So, yeah, continuing to get back to scoring ways, Shvetsov, and, well, he didn't score in the next couple of games, which is a bit of a cause for concern. We drew 1-1 against Birmingham. In this game, Dylan Turnbull with an initial goal for us right at the end of the first half, and then Darcy Jones for them with an absolute thunderous header that crashed in off the crossbar, and 1-1 was how it finished. And then we moved into the game against Barnsley, and it was at this point, looking at the fixtures we had left and 5 games left of the year, that I started to think, how can we experiment? How can we change things here? And, well, I was kind of looking at things, and I felt like we had a gap in the wide areas of midfield where we've not been particularly great. I feel like Shuttleworth, Rodriguez, even the strikers that, you know, can play out wide haven't really performed there. I didn't feel like it was working. And with us having Lazarus and Ox, who I think could longer term become really good wing-backs, I started experimenting. And for the game that we first played against Barnsley, I did try a libero. I did. I tried a 3 at the back system. I feel like we can maybe take a quick look at it here. If we look at analysis teams, I guess average positions is probably a good way to look at the shape that we were playing. And then, well, just have it overall. That doesn't help, does it? Because it includes subs. How do I get rid of the subs? Starting 11. There you go. So this is the shape we were playing. We were playing with 3 centre-backs, but one of them was a libero, wing-backs. And it finished 0-0. We just didn't do quite enough for my liking. So I decided, you know what? Playing a deep line playmaker alongside a box-to-box midfielder in the middle with a trio of centre-backs isn't going to really work for us. We don't have a natural libero. I could kind of try and stick Douglas in there, but let's be honest, liberos, they're a little bit fancy. I've seen some people use them with a lot of success this year in FM, so who knows, maybe we'll come back to it at some point. wasn't really working for him. So we ditched the libero, we brought the deep line playmaker back, and then added the extra man that we'd lost from the defence into the midfield. So that really opened things up, actually, and it kind of makes sense. It's a shame that Highland isn't more natural as a defensive midfielder, although we're going to be training him at it. Similar, I guess, situation with the wing-backs as well, although Ox and Lazarus both learning to play wing-back. They have the attributes to play it. It's purely about positional familiarity. And to be honest, at this point in the year, with 3 games left, looking like we should just go up, it feels like a pretty good time to get a little bit of a head start, because I could see us using this system next year. So yeah, all in all, I feel like this actually plays really well to our strengths, this new shape. You guys can let me know what you think. The other big benefit is the fact that Walter, who is our best attacking midfielder, even if he's not had the best start to his time at the club, he can play as a centre attacking mid, and actually he's quite a good centre attacking mid. You can see here he ticks a lot of the boxes for this role, and at 18 years old, plenty of time for us to mould him into it. So yeah, get used to this. This may be what we use next year. Let me know. I feel like this really makes sense with the players that we have. Yes, there's a bit of a familiarity developing process that we're going to have to go through, with it being quite a different shape. But as you will see, it worked a treat against Brentford. We beat them 5-0. Roll the highlights. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. But Shvetsov with a hat-trick in this game, and Alvarez and Shuttleworth getting goals too in this one. And it was interesting to see the contrast just between this game and the game previously against Barnsley. Now, Barnsley are higher in the league, and the fact that we kept a clean sheet against them, of course, is quite a good sign with a new system. The concerning thing really was the fact we just didn't score, because that hasn't happened all that many times this year. But against Brentford, we looked really good from set pieces and really good when we got the ball into the box. The wing-backs were really involved in the play, which is something I would like to make more use of, because that is one of our biggest areas of strength right now, is the full-back positions. And of course, at centre-mid, having Andre and Alvarez play ahead of Highland kind of solves another one of the problems I've had at the club, which has been in the centre-mid position we have 3 or 4 players, if you include Cece and I guess the contention, who are quite good in that position, and only 2 of them can play. So 5-0 win, exactly what you want to see, and as you saw just by the championship table, we're in a pretty good spot now. You know, if we can get even a draw today is enough to secure us promotion back to the big time. A win here would close the gap to 5 points on Southampton, but you'd have to think with 2 games left of the year, they're not going to drop, 2 games and lose 2 more in a row, considering they've lost 2 all season. So with that in mind, today we're going to wrap up the year. We're going to go through the intake in a second, and the next episode we'll hopefully go straight into the end of season review, knowing that we've gone up. Hopefully I'm not getting too ahead of myself, but I feel like we're in a pretty good spot at this point in time. Anyway, as I said, youth intake has happened, and can we just start off by acknowledging the fact our team is looking very, very good. Even our under-18s are looking good. Danny Swan was the big prospect who joined us last year. Here's his development at the moment. At 17 years old, he looks like an absolutely phenomenal little striker. He could well end up being a really good playmaker for us, but for now, we're going to stick him where he's natural. But thinking longer term with the new system, maybe there is an argument to say, hey, centre attacking mid, let's get training him as an attacking midfielder on attack off the bat. A little bit concerned about his physicals being a bit rubbish, so actually what we'll do, I think, is train him as a shadow striker, just to help with his overall physicals. That actually works really, really nicely now that I look at it. So that's what we'll go with. But he's shown great signs of development, as have a few other players like Artem Kaval. He's been on loan at Hereford this year. He was part of our intake a few years ago now, actually way back when we were in League One. Been keeping a close eye on him because he has been called into the England under-20 squad on the odd occasion. Yet to make an appearance for them, and I guess at 20, you question if he's going to be able to develop enough, because he has got a little way to go. But he could well end up being our third choice goalkeeper, in a couple of years' time, I feel like. Homegrown at club as well is a massive, massive benefit. But actually, when you look across it, there's just good players kind of all across. We've got Steve Thomas, who can also play in goal. He joined us from Coventry in January. Nick Feather is an interesting player. Probably has some really good potential, but he's never going to reach it. He's unfortunate, I guess, in the sense that, similar to Koval, he joined the club with a load of potential at a time where our facilities weren't really that good to actually get the most out of training. But anyway, that's enough about the old. Let's talk about the new, shall we? And if we just switch to our complete training view, the players with no development are the players who are new. So by that logic, you can see there's one player who's very, 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 very good. So let's talk about him, Mr. Graham Blandford. And he's not a very bland player, and he looks very, very good. 16 years old, fairly professional personality, left-footed. We don't really need more strikers, so I'm not sure what to do with him, but for now we're going to train him as a complete forward on attack. You know, if he can develop a ton, fantastic. He seems to have some really good potential. Apparently, he's been doing quite well in training, so let's give him a little word of encouragement. But yes, consistent, currently of National League North or South quality. Got a long, long way to go, this guy. But two things I love. Firstly, born in Towlaw. That's cool, isn't it? Also, Harry Kane joined my backroom staff and they're best mates. I mean, that's got to be worth something, right? Harry Kane coaching this kid. The other thing that I really like is he's got the player trait, gets the crowd going. So not only is he born in Towlaw, he's a crowd pleaser. I mean, that's a combination that I'm just loving the thought of, to be honest. So we'll keep an eye on Graham, but he has great speed, pretty good vision as well. You know, good passing and good flair for a striker for sure. He's also not terrible in the air. His jumping, reach and heading are more than adequate. Personality of fairly professional is good. I would like his determination to go up a little bit. But yeah, exciting. Really exciting. You know, when you look across some of the players that we've got who have come through the academy, he looks like one of the best we've had in many a year. Anyway, a few other players that we've had come through who you'll probably never hear of again, if I'm honest, because I don't think they're going to be good enough. We have Johnny Smith here. He is a right winger. I probably should set up the training for these ones that I don't think are going to develop to give them the best chance. But in truth, you know, when you see the grey stars, you kind of just give up all hope. So, yeah, there's Johnny Smith, then there's Ian Allen here. Looks okay, I suppose, but injury-prone, inconsistent, not the best potential. Yeah, it's one of those intakes where we've been told it's a golden generation and it just feels like a little bit of a lie, but one good player really makes up for that in Graham. Interestingly enough, Southampton, who we play today, are interested in him. Right, set and ask, 200 million for him, please. Of course, just speaking of a few of our other kind of, you know, homegrown prospects, I feel like it is just worth mentioning Matasevic. Obviously on loan at Northampton this year. I've not talked about him a great deal while he's been out on loan. What an incredible loan spell he's having. His ratings haven't been the best, but he's playing a lot of his games at centre mid, which is why we've loaned him out there. And just on the whole, massive improvements. He looks superb. You know, he's 19 years old, he's going to be 20 soon enough. If we are going to persist with this system that uses, you know, a fair few centre mids, he will be in the team next year. He will be on the bench. He will be in the match squad from time to time. So very excited about that indeed. And obviously the green arrows you can see there are superb. I guess on a not so good note, Eric's not done very well. I mean, he's developing well in terms of training, but yeah, his average rating for us was pretty bad. And then he's gone to Leicester and had just as bad average ratings, which is a little bit of a shame because he's now 21. He's not the 18-year-old prospect Eric we once, you know, had. Although I will say, speaking of 18-year-olds, Roger McCassie, the South African who didn't get a work permit. Can we apply for a work permit yet? No. 2 more weeks. Crazy development from this guy. Obviously, I was thinking we'd train him to play right back. He's now gone on loan to Amiens, where I believe he's playing centre back for them. Yeah, he's actually played centre mid and centre back for them. He's doing quite well. He's developing an absolute ton. I love how good his mentals are. He could end up being a really good player in this team. It's tricky, right? Because I don't know where I'd play him. I feel like with 8 heading and 11 jumping reach, he's not really a defender. And then you look at him as maybe a box-to-box midfielder. Maybe. I mean, he's lacking a few areas, but they could probably be improved. He's only 18 after all. I just look at the flair. It's weird because vision, passing and flair are what make up the vision category here. And actually, for most roles, I don't really care about flair so much. You know, I'd rather players keep it simple. And so his passing and his vision are actually okay for an 18-year-old. But when you look at the graph here, it just doesn't look particularly good. I guess technically he's got a little way to go to his first touch, certainly. And his technique could be a little better. Either way, let me know what you would do with McCassie. I feel like centre mid is the option, or the other option is the curveball that I suggested before, which would be to train him maybe to play right wing back. With our new system, I guess we'd have to change the position we're going to train him in, because rather than right back, it would be right wing back. But as far as complete wing backs go, man, he ticks a lot of boxes. I'm not crazy here, am I? I think he's a wing back. I'm more convinced than ever he's a wing-back. And let me know. Really, obviously, there's not a right or wrong answer here. That's the beauty of it. A few other players out on loan. Vasili's doing okay. He's been playing regularly for Cardiff, although his development, it's not really been a thing. You know, he's kind of been the same player he was a couple of years ago, it feels like, which is a bit of a shame. But nevertheless, you know, still doing his things out on loan. You can just see on the whole, training of the players who are still around. Very, very good. Who's been the standout ones other than Danny Swan? We've got Joe Callow here. Don't think you've had a mention, Joe, but here you are. I'm curious, actually. How does he compare to Reyes? Is he better than Reyes? No, not really. But he's not that far off, bizarrely. It's kind of interesting that one of our third choice players who was like a starting left back for us, 2 or 3 years ago, is now struggling to keep up with just players who I have in my under-23s who I just kind of don't care about. I will say Ali McLean, you might remember we signed this guy for £2 million from Bristol City. Quite happy with his development on the whole. I think he's looking pretty good. Probably needs to go out and get regular first-team football, but he's not particularly old. He's got really consistent consistency. Well done, Jack. Professional personality. He's ready for a loan, to be honest. Unfortunately, the loan window has come and gone. Dale Brodie-Gate is another example of one of those players, by the way, who was produced at our academy, who's just not going to quite make it. Which is a shame, because he probably has a bit more potential to fulfil. You can see he started with us way back when we were in League 2, so he's one of the players who's been here the longest. He's 21 now. He actually looks like a pretty solid centre mid. But he's never going to be Premier League quality, not unless he's going to be the latest of all late bloomers and do a bit of a Jamie Vardy, which in Football Manager doesn't really feel like it happens. I often get asked how Dazelle, Sonny Best, Leighton Stewart, Kumwenda, how they're all doing. They're all still at their club. I mean, they're not doing particularly great, but they're still at the club. They're still enjoying it. Worth noting with Sonny Best, we've recently sent him on a leadership course. I don't know if I can actually show you anything about the leadership course. But yeah, he's gone on one. I asked the board and they actually granted it. So at 30 years old, I'm hoping we can slowly nudge him onto the path of becoming a coach. We'll train him to be a leader and take it from there. He's played, I think, 1 game of competitive football in 8 years. If we can secure our safety next year in the Premier League early, he will play in the team. But anyway, in terms of today, we are going to focus on the here and now rather than how we're going to play some of our older players in a testimonial style game when we're still in the Premier League next year. This is what we are going to line up with. We are going to play the new system. So in terms of personnel, there's actually no kind of crazy new names here. The big takeaway essentially is the fact the wing-backs are going further forward, Highland is dropping deep, and then instead of the wide attacking midfielders, we're obviously playing a more narrow midfield, but I think that probably plays into our biggest strength in terms of just a lot of talent in the centre of the midfield. So anyway, let's get into this. One interesting little thing that I have been encountering is the fact that you have to have at least 8 homegrown players in England in your match squad. There's been a few occasions, and it kind of, I don't think it's the case today, but it's happened a couple of times when we've had players out. I've struggled to hit the quota for homegrown players in nation. Because our squad's so young now, there's a load of players playing for us who haven't been in England for 3 years yet, and so aren't homegrown in nation. So bizarrely, there's been times where I've had players on the bench who probably wouldn't normally be on the bench. Those kind of restrictions, fortunately for us, don't exist as kind of strictly in the Premier League, although they do kick into effect with European football. But, well, we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves here. And, well, let's see what we can do. Out on the counter-attack, Shvetsov, oh my gosh, he's come through with the ball. Can he finish it? Misses it, but gets the rebound. Thank you very much, Lafont. Lafont in goal, of course, well-known French goalkeeper. Fallen out of the Media Dream 11, the Morrigan, our goalkeeper. This is the battle of the best 2 goalkeepers in the league. We've had 2 clean sheets in our last 2. I mean, we'll be hoping to keep on to another. Shvetsov, very brave, actually. I feel like he's been looking at Turnbull's aggression in training to win the second ball there as the defender tried to lump it clear. But yeah, we score. We're a goal ahead, and I'm a tactical genius, everyone. There are a few little instructional changes that I've gone with. I know I didn't talk about the instructions before. You can see here, we're looking for the overlap. We're going to try and work the ball into the box. I want to try and dominate possession a little bit more, which I know might appear naive in the going into the Premier League, but I am very firmly of the mindset of, in the Premier League, at least in Football Manager, and I think it applies to an extent in real life, possession is actually really important. Even if you're a weaker team, just minimising the amount that you can be punished by other teams by giving them possession is huge. And so I'd much rather have the ball in non-dangerous areas as we score again. That's 39 for the year for Shvetsov. I mean, could we still win the league? Could Southampton lose 2 games after this one? No, they're not going to. They're not going to, everyone. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Highland, though, playing that defensive midfielder position rather than his traditional centre mid spot, still finds his way high up the pitch and still able to pluck out a pass like that one. I mean, maybe we've struck gold. I feel like this system definitely plays to our strengths better. especially because we know last year in the Premier League, the wide attacking midfielders just didn't work for us. They were very isolated out the game. They didn't do enough. We were so reliant on Turnbull and Shvetsov. And I feel like, I don't know, this just makes a load of sense. I am now sat thinking, we've had a very, very good year. Like, it's kind of gone under the radar how good our league season has been, but we could, I think, still break our own kind of points total for a season, kind of record. Although I think we'd have to win all the remaining games, which feels unlikely at this point. Certainly, it's been an extremely good season. It's kind of gone under the radar. I feel like because it was more expected this year, I suppose. We kind of beat all the teams that we should be beating for the most part. And obviously in live comms, we're often playing the big cup games and the bigger teams in the league where things are a bit more of a challenge. Oh my word, was that Douglas with the tackle? I mean, it feels like the players are inspired by this tactical change. It's like they want to play it different as well. Of course, they're not even that familiar with it at this point. Tactical familiarity is not a thing right now. I mean, if we look... I didn't want to look at analysis. I wanted to look at the alternate views, but it turns out you can't get them in matches. But yeah, tactical familiarity isn't going to be that high, which is one of the reasons why I want to start using this system now. The fact that we're beating the team who are top with this system bodes quite well for playing against bigger teams. Tizzy is very, very tired, bless him, so I'm going to bring in Brandon Williams, who actually can't really play right back, but he's going to learn to play it now. Volta's also not had the best of games, so you know what? I'm going to bring in Cece, I think, and up top, Dylan Turnbull, you're going to go off. Nicky Richards has been given a few games to as of late, but he's not been wowing me, the former Manchester City man. But you know what? We're going to bring in Achabar here, the kind of German striker that we signed from Bayern Munich. He's not the craziest of seasons. When you sign a player from Bayern Munich, albeit he was released by them, probably with good reason, but when you sign a player from Bayern Munich and you're a championship club, you kind of expect him to score goals, and that's not really happened. There is going to be a moment of squeaky bum time here as Southampton score from a set piece, which I'm not going to put down to the tactic. I feel like that's a bit silly too. It was a set piece. Morrigan couldn't quite get that. Andre, not the craziest in the air. And while they get it goalwards, I mean, we still need to win here. Of course, a point is enough to get promoted. I don't really care about winning the league. This trophy would be nice, but the biggest thing is we are up. And you know what that means, everyone? To end today's episode, we get to take a look at our budgets. I mean, the inner accountant in me is very excited. So our club balance, I'm not going to look at the money yet, but our club balance is about £60 million. We are bathing in the kind of parachute fund money. So how much money would I like next year? I think our wage budget last year when we were in the Premier League was about 500k, 600k. And we had about, how much was it that we had to spend initially? I want to check, but I'm scared I'll see the budgets. I'm going to squint at stuff so I don't see. I've not looked in the top right there, so I have no idea what we've got. So yeah, like for example, last year we did spend. Please load. Are we gonna go Football Manager? There we go. So we did spend 57 million, but obviously we sold 12 million pounds worth of players. So what's that net spend? About 45 million, which is actually still quite a lot of money. So last time we were in the Premier League, we had a 45 million transfer budget and 600,000 wage budget. What do we have this year? Boom. 40 million. But that's pretty nice, isn't it? And a really big wage budget, although we are spending more on wages than we were even when we were in the Premier League this year, just due to locking down players into longer term contracts. Anyway, the board are very, very happy. We've won promotion to the Northern League. Sorry, what Football Manager? Are you okay, Football Manager? 5 years ahead of schedule, everyone. We've got promoted to the Northern Football League. That's the second league that we played in this series. I don't know what's going on with the Club Vision stuff. Clearly, it doesn't like all the leagues that we've gone through. I still want to sign Smoljo. I did notice that, well, we probably aren't going to be able to sign him, although he's not played every game this year due to injury. Liverpool are interested in him. Now, I don't know what kind of money do you want, Watford? Because we get 50% of any... What? They want 18 million? And we get half of that back? No, I want Smoljo back. Please, we're just gonna hit continue here. I was expecting them to ask for £100 million. Please be interested in talking to us, Smoljo. Oh my gosh. I've got Morrigan. What do I do? Oh, what would you do, chat? Oh, this is the bit where I wish I was live streaming. Oh, he's 25. He's not actually better than Morrigan. But I could just have both. How much does he want wages? He wanted like 100 grand. He wants a contract with a minimum release clause as well. Let's just have a little look here. Stepping stone, no. No. We'll probably improve the defenders. I'm going to just go with that. Right, how much... Minimum release clause, remove and exclude. Relegation release clause. I have to give them a longer contract to be able to add. Remove and exclude. So they can't sneak it in. Oh, I can... How much wage budget we got left? We're like close to 200 grand under it. And he only is 18 million. And we get half of that back. So it's like a £9 million transfer. So I could go silly with the wages knowing that we get 9 million back. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. 90k is a lot, but it's Smolyo. Oh, you bugger. You bugger. 130? Is that crazy? I'll give you a bigger sell on. Your agent, I can give him a bit more money. 130 is a lot. What should I limit myself to? Liverpool are interested. He must be good. Please. What have I done? What have I done? I don't know if this is the right decision or not. It probably isn't. My head is saying no. My heart is saying you're a genius. We get half the money back. That's the biggest thing I'm sat thinking. It's a £9 million transfer for a really good goalkeeper. What's the worst that happens? I mean, we could sell Morrigan on for a load of money. Morrigan's on such a smaller contract. And he's probably a little bit better. But Smolyo's got way better mentals and better aerial reach. Oh, I don't know. Right, comment section, help me. I really do need help this time. This is not how I thought today's episode was going to be ending, but it's like going on your ex-girlfriend's Facebook page, isn't it? And then you send a friend request and she accepts it and you're a bit surprised as to what's going on. That's how I feel right now. I don't know if anyone can relate to that emotion. Maybe that's quite a niche thing. Anyway, we're going to wrap things up there from me today. We've made an offer, and there's a contract on the table for Smolyo. Wow. So we are promoted. Great news. Next episode, we won't do the last game of the season because we're already up. But you've seen the new system in action. I'm pretty happy with it. We'll probably go into a bit more detail about the long-term squad building around this system that I'm now thinking about. But, yeah, we might buy Smolyo back. I don't know what to make of that. Right, folks, I'm rattled mentally, so let's just cut things off here. It's like the 5th time I've said that. Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for your support on this series. Tomorrow will be the end of season review. A lot of it will be looking forward to the Premier League, and I'm very excited for it, and potentially this. I'll see you soon. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. That's all from me. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.